Hey, everybody. Good morning. Episode 74. The School of Shred. Good morning. Welcome. We're going to allow everybody to get on here. Man, it is really coming down outside right now. You guys happy to have the rain back here in the Pacific Northwest? For those of you who are listening who aren't in Washington, I am in Seattle where, I don't know if you know this or not, but it rains quite a bit here. Rains quite a bit, and it's back in full swing right now. It looks like it's about 5 o'clock in the afternoon and getting dark already. Anyway, welcome to the School of Shred, episode 74, Q&A Friday. This is where we kick our feet back, we cut loose, we unbutton the top button of our dress shirts here, and we get a little crazy and we answer some questions. So we got some good questions today. We're going to go over those guys. But before we do that, I'm going to try and utilize this technology we got here on my little app, and we're gonna do a little something here. Let's see. Let's go here. We're gonna talk about webinars. All right, you guys like webinars? Yeah, I like webinars. So tonight at 6 p.m., I am doing a live webinar, and so you guys should click on the link here as I try to fumble through this thing. I don't think this is going to work here. I was just playing with it, man. I just had it up. I'm trying to do something here where I can actually show you guys my screen. This is kind of a cool feature. All right, let's go. If you guys have any questions today, I want you to ask them in the comments and we can answer them live today, okay? So we got 3 good questions today that we're going to go over, but if we have any more, we're going to hang out for a while and we'll answer any questions that you guys have. So that said, we're going to go ahead and pull this guy up. So here we go. So this is the Shred Half Your Body Fat Without Leaving Your House webinar that I'm doing tonight at 6 p.m. I've posted the link in the comments section. So it's just schoolofshredpodcast.com/webinar for the webinar extravaganza. Tonight, we'll hang out from 6 p.m. till about 7:30 and train you guys up on how you can make this the most abundant health time of your life while being stuck at home exercise, dieting strategies that you can use, as well as ways that you can fill your spiritual cup up from at home. So go ahead and jump on the webinar, schoolofshredpodcast.com/webinar, and we're going to go ahead and get into it now. So today we got a few questions. We got number 1 is, what do you recommend if I get hungry during a fast? Number 2 is snack ideas for sporting events. Go Hawks. Somebody had to put Go Hawks. We're in Seahawk country out here in Washington. All right. And then number 3, we got alternative to sports drinks and sodas. So those are our 3 main questions. Like I said, we only got 3 this week, so there's room for more. If you guys want to ask anything while you're watching this, let's go ahead and get into it, okay? And I'll answer it live here. But we'll start with number 1 here. So what do you recommend if I get hungry during a fast? So this is a good question. This is one that I get a lot with clients that I instruct through learning how to fast and all that. So there's a few things that you can do. Number 1 is make sure that you're hydrated and you're drinking enough water. That really helps. You can have coffee on a fast. And so I know for me, a lot of the times when I wake up, I can be pretty hungry. So drinking some water and then getting a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, a mug of tea, mate. Getting a mug of tea, that can help. I do a little bit of creamer or full fat cream, so nothing with sugar in it in my coffee. And so if you do a little bit, that's fine. If the hunger sharks are really eating you alive, one of the things that you can do is you break in your fast a little bit, but if you're really that hungry where you have to surrender, you can take a spoonful of coconut oil. And a spoonful of coconut oil will help get some fats in, and it will help feed those hunger sharks so they stop eating you alive, because that's no fun. We don't want the hunger sharks eating us alive. And so those are a couple things that you can do. And then another thing is just grind it out. So if you start intermittent fasting and playing around fasting, and I think this question was asked because we've talked about fasting this week quite a bit. you're going to be hungry in the beginning. So just expect that. A lot of what your body is sending as far as hunger signals can be just out of habit. It could also be, blood sugar dysregulation, excess carbohydrates in your diet that are making you hungry when blood sugar levels fall, when insulin clears that sugar out of the blood. And this is why, we were talking earlier in the week about combining high fat diets and fasting. And so I had a client that asked me that a few weeks ago. He's bulking up right now. So this guy's a standard trying to gain muscle. So we've been bulking him up for about, with COVID, we couldn't train for a while. So we've been working on it since about February. All right. And this guy's gained about 20 pounds now. Lots of muscle. He's got bigger arms than me now all of a sudden, which is pretty cool. But anyway, we're going to get into a fat loss phase here coming up when he hits a goal weight that we have set, our targets on several months ago. And he was asking that question of, okay, so if we start to go into a lower carbohydrate and start to maybe pull carbs out to lose fat and fast more, he was reading online on Reddit. He says, it seems like they go together, fasting and high fat diets, or keto, or being keto-ish. I said, yeah, it is, because it helps stabilize hunger hormones. And so when I first started doing higher fat diets, I was doing just bacon and eggs for breakfast. And I started to realize I wasn't even hungry at lunch. So I had that at 7 a.m. for breakfast before I went to work. At the corporate gym where I used to work was when I first started doing this. And I realized I didn't need 5 meals a day because I was eating high fat. I was just satiated. So they go together. And so the reason I bring that up is because as it pertains to you, and if you're doing fasting and answering this question here, if you get hungry during a fast, is that if you start to eat more fats and utilize more fats and less carbohydrates, and you just kind of tinker with that, play with that, that might be one of the ways that you overcome the hunger sharks and you feed those hunger sharks. So if you're fasting, say, the first half of the day, look at the meal that you have the night before, like your last meal. So if you're having dinner, if you were to make that more of a fatty meal, that might help keep you satiated longer. And then, the other things that I listed was hydration. Make sure you're hydrated. A cup of coffee in the morning. Do a cup of bone broth if you want to. And tea can work as well. And then if it's really, really bad, if your hunger is real bad, but you're committed to trying to learn the system, then you can do a spoonful of coconut oil. I do that a lot of the time, but I fast so much that I don't really hold myself to some weekends, on the weekend I have pancakes, healthy pancakes, but I have pancakes with my girlfriend because we want to social eat together, and that's important to me. So, I fast so much that if I'm not fasting 1 day or 2 days, I don't really even think about it anymore. And so ultimately that's where you want to get to, is where it's just a lifestyle thing that you're not really thinking about. Some days you'll break the fast. If you want to go out to a nice diner in the morning and go eat breakfast or whatever with some friends, you do that, but it's not really what you do every day. It's not the standard. So anyway, so those are some things you can do. So stay hydrated, drink coffee, spoonful of coconut oil, high fat diet before you go. Oh, there we go. We got a question. Good. Before you go into your fast. So we're gonna revere here. We're gonna jump into this question. All right. What's up, Matthew? Good morning, baby. Here, I'm gonna pull your question up, brother. All right. What's the benefit of doing extended fast versus a daily fast, and how often should you do an extended fast? That's killer question. This is a great question. So, what's the benefit of doing an extended fast? So an extended fast, well, I'll start with a daily fast because daily fast is kind of the low-hanging fruit. So on a daily fast, what you're doing is you're dropping insulin levels is one of the main things that you're doing. So when we eat, if we eat, say, protein, high protein breakfast, so we're not even eating carbohydrates. Say we have, a bunch of eggs and maybe some chicken sausage or something like that with it, right? So a lot of protein, which is all good, or we have a protein shake in the morning for breakfast. Protein elicits an insulin response. Not necessarily a bad thing. Insulin is not the devil, right? It's not one of the many tools of the devil. But what it is we do want to take care of it. And if we want to lose fat, we want insulin to be low. So hormone-sensitive lipase enzyme activity can be higher because that helps mobilize triglycerides and get them into the energy cycle so we can use body fat. And so basically what I'm getting at here is that by fasting, you actually keep insulin low because you're not eating at all, right? Even, any foods. This is why I'm talking about, like, any food's going to produce some insulin unless it's like straight a spoonful of coconut oil. Okay. But even protein will elicit enough insulin so you can shuttle that protein where it needs to go. Fat's digested through the lymphatic system, so it's a little bit different the way that it's digested. So that's why fat's not really going to raise insulin. But at any rate, so that's what it's going to do. It's going to manage insulin, keep insulin low when you're fasting throughout the day. So if you're doing a 16-hour fast, and then when you eat, you're spiking insulin up and you're taking care of insulin. And so number one, you're maintaining insulin sensitivity, which is really, really good because basically the way that your body stores is going to stay efficient, right? So when you eat food, your body knows what to do with it. You're not overworking insulin. It's not working overtime. So you're not running the risk of becoming insulin resistant, which is not good. So in this realm, fasting glucose numbers should improve if you're doing daily fasting, okay? Because you're keeping insulin low. And then when you call upon it, when you go to break your fast, it's able to work properly. And so that's one of the main tools for a daily fast or the main benefits of a daily fast is that it manages insulin better than even a low carbohydrate diet with frequent eating patterns. So that's what's great about that. It manages blood sugar. It can help with inflammation because we're not always digesting food. We're not causing any inflammatory response. So then if we get into extended fast, so this would be, and I'm not sure what you mean by extended fast, but I'm sure you probably mean at least 48 hours or 72 or beyond. So there's some studies that have shown that 5-day fasts, there was one real notable one that 5-day fast actually increased growth hormone by 500%. There was like 300 to 500%, which is wild because, what most of us have been taught is that, or heard is that if you don't eat, you're going to lose muscle. Well, growth hormone is literally the hormone that preserves muscle. And so they've actually found that there's more concentration of growth hormone inside the muscle when we fast for prolonged periods of time. And if you think about it from a biological or evolutionary perspective, it makes sense because if we, as a tribe, we killed the bison and we ate the bison and we didn't have any preservatives. So we basically gorged and we finished it all up. All right. So we feasted, but then we got to go into this famine cycle where we might not get something for 5 days. Say we have hunters and gatherers, right? And we got hunters, a tribe of us are out trying to find meat and we're hunting for several days, depending on where we're at. We might be eating some berries here and there, but not enough to get like enough calories in. It wouldn't make sense for us to just continually get weaker. Our body actually has our best interest in mind. And so cortisol will go up a little bit on a fast, which will give you energy and suppress appetite. But you also get growth hormone increases the further you get into a fast. So that's one cool benefit is it actually helps bone mineral density and it actually keeps growth hormone up. So that becomes kind of anabolic. But the main thing that an extended fast will do is it really starts to get deeper into the cellular cleansing. All right. So this thing called cellular autophagy, which is recycling of cells. You have something called apoptosis that happens, which is this programmed cell death. So cells in our body, we create new cells and old cells die. Well, a lot of times we're not getting rid of the old cells and they can hang out and they stay in our body. And that's not good because mutated cells hanging around could become cancerous. We don't want those. We have free radical production. We need to make sure that we're getting rid of all of that stuff. And so when we fast for 48, 72 hours and 72 plus up to 5 days, we're actually doing a lot of deep work on our cells. And we're really, really cleaning out and recycling a lot of those dead cells and using them for energy. So it's literally a time for your body. It's like a spring cleaning for your cells when you do the extended fasts. So you're working deep. So the way that I explain this to people, the extended fasting is like, you don't do extended fast for fat loss. Like like when I do 2 or 3 day fast, I'm not doing it to lose fat. I can lose fat with intermittent fasting. I can lose fat with controlling the foods that I'm eating. I do extended fast for like long-term health because I want to take care of my organs and my body long-term and longevity. And so that's why that's important to me. And so when you do a 24 or a 48-hour fast or a 30 or a 72-hour fast, there's a few things that you want to know. Number one, you can make those calories up later on in the week. But the second thing that I want to note is don't gorge coming out of a fast. It can shock the body. And so you want to be slow coming out of it. The best way to come out of like a 72-hour fast is, drink a cup of bone broth, so you're getting some good minerals in, and you can even do a little bone broth during a long fast too, because you're probably going to run out of electrolytes. I'm a low carb guy, so my body excretes a lot of minerals and electrolytes, so I have to try extra hard. So putting like a dash of salt in water or doing bone broth during my long fast helps, because it's not enough calories to really affect fasting. All right, so if you're eating less than 250 calories a day, it's considered fasting mimicking diet. So just know that if you're having 20 calories from like bone broth during a long fast, you're okay. You're still getting the benefits from it. That's why coffee is okay. I forgot my train of thought though, where I was going with that. The not eating, gorging when you come out of your fast. So after 3 days of fasting, you don't want to just eat 3 days worth of calories all at once. You want to come out of this thing slow. Okay, so you want to come out of it have, like I said, bone broth and like maybe a good meal of some vegetables. Maybe cook up some vegetables. You have a nice piece of meat, maybe an avocado or something like that. But don't gorge yourself. Don't go out and get pizza just because you're in a calorie deficit. That's one of the worst things you can do. It's a super shock on your body. It might tick off your digestive system. So you want to slowly introduce calories. And if you were going to eat real high calorie, I would do it like the next day or 2 days after you get done with your fast, let your body get acclimated again, because you just pulled calories for an extended period of time. So those are kind of, in a nutshell, those are the two benefits. All right. Those are the two different benefits. So a daily fast is good for insulin management. Okay. It can be good for caloric management. If you want to put it in those terms, it helps decrease inflammation. But the long term, the extended fast, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, usually people are going to do 2 or 3. I usually do 2 or 3. I'll push it to 3 or 4 around, around this time of year. I try to do that like every 6 months, every 3 months. I've been doing like a 2-day fast. Intermittent fasting I do every day personally. But it's perfectly fine if you're new to this thing to just do an intermittent fast, a daily fast where you fast for 16 hours. You just do it twice a week or something. You can slowly walk it up. It's not like an all or nothing principle here. You can just on Saturdays or Sundays. I got clients on Sundays, they fast. They skip breakfast. They don't eat till 1 p.m. That's fine. That's great. You got one day. If you want to continue to explore it because of some of these other benefits I'm talking about, good. Then you go ahead and do it. The extended fast, like I said, every 90 days, you can do it. Every 6 months if you want. If you do it every year, you're doing better than most people. But think about it as like, that's the true cleanse. A true cleanse, there's a lot of these cleanses where you take a bunch of fiber and, then you got to run to the bathroom every 10 minutes. That's one thing. Like that might be its own cleanse. A true cleanse, like a cellular cleansing, would be a 48 to 72 hour fast that you could do every 3 months or every 6 months. So anyway, those are the two things, the two ways there. I kind of keep getting sidetracked, but the daily fast is for insulin management. Okay, that's kind of just a general statement. The extended fast is more for cellular autophagy and a cellular cleanup. So you're cleaning your cells up. So good question. So question number 2 is snack ideas for sporting events. Go Hawks. I like how somebody put Go Hawks. This is awesome, dude. This is definitely somebody from Seattle. All right, so somebody's clearly watching football and happy that football is back. Who's happy football's back? Who's happy that football's back? I want to see some action in the comments. Instagram, I want to see some action. YouTube land, let's go. Facebook, say I'm pumped for football or I don't like football. Or throw a football emoji in the comment section here. There we go. We got some fire going in the comments. Hello, football's back. Isn't it beautiful? All right. God, 2020 has just been a wild ride. Thank God football didn't get canceled. There'd be more riots. Snack ideas for sporting events. Well, you could do what I do, which is brisket every Sunday now. I've been throwing brisket in at like 10:30 at night, and then I just go to bed and I wake up and then I wrap it and then I put it back in for a couple hours and then I got brisket by like 11 a.m. It's pretty awesome. But your snack options, there's a couple good ones. So we'll start first with the healthy stuff, and then we'll get into the stuff. Well, not the healthy, but we'll start with the best options. Okay, and then we'll get into the stuff that's maybe a little bit more fun. So the first options I'd recommend is you can create like a veggie platter. That's what I like to do. So you get a bunch of celery out, little tomatoes, broccoli. I like to use Bolthouse Farms yogurt dressing. If you've ever had that, they have like a ranch dressing. It's about 45 calories for 2 tablespoons. It's made from yogurt. There's not a whole bunch of extra polyunsaturated fats and other crap in it. So pretty short ingredient list. So that's a good one. Bolthouse Farms. If they want to sponsor the show, they could go ahead and do that. I would take some free dressing. But I'm not endorsed by them. So you can dip vegetables in that. You can also do like almond butter with apple slices, or peanut butter with celery slices. Yes, in that order. That's the way that I personally like to do it. You can do it however you want, though. Maybe don't eat peanut butter if you have peanut allergies, though. We might want to go over that one. Really, the thing is trying to get whole food. You can go get the veggie platters at the store. Those guys are really good. You could do like a meat and cheese platter. That's kind of the where I like to hover right there. You can also get, if you can find like a Parmesan dip, those can be good depending on if you have dairy intolerances and whatnot, but you can dip celery and carrots and stuff in those guys. So that's always nice. And then there's a brand of chips that we've been getting called Sieta. And I think there's only 7 ingredients. I think that's why it's named Sieta. But they do all their chips with avocado oil. Here's the issue is when you go to the store, if you guys want to get chips or something like that, I want you to start looking for polyunsaturated fats. So canola oil, safflower oil, vegetable oil. You would be amazed that you can go to the organic section of most stores where you think because you're paying $2 more for a bag of chips that they're healthy. If you start looking at what the oils they're using on there, they're oils that go rancid with heat and create free radicals in the body, which is polyunsaturated fats. You want to stay away from those. Why do you want to stay away from polyunsaturated fats? When you eat oils that are going to create free radicals in the body, that creates inflammation. Inflammation is the number one reason you're not losing fat, is you're inflamed. You will not lose fat if your body is inflamed. It's also where all disease starts. Coronary heart disease it's an inflammatory disease. Alzheimer's is an inflammatory disease. Everything's an inflammatory disease. I have a great book that I was reading recently, and it just had this page where it just went down of like every single like major disease we have and how it all starts with inflammation. Like, where does the inflammation start? And really everything, it starts from inflammation. And so we want to manage inflammation. That's the big thing. And so when we're talking about fasting a minute ago, it manages inflammation. Ketogenic diets have been shown to manage inflammation, or keto-ish diets, just low carbohydrate, and eating smart carbs, right? It's okay to eat carbs, okay to eat potatoes, but figuring out it's okay to eat carbs, maybe not potatoes for you, but you got to figure out what's not going to inflame your body and keep inflammation down. So what I'm getting at is that when you're looking at like chips or snacks or any of that stuff, it's just not worth it to me anymore to have chips that have these oils in there. Now, there's going to be a day where I have some of that stuff. If I'm around friends, there's no other options, whatever. But what I'm buying with my dollar, I am actually really serious about not consuming vegetable oils anymore. That's the one thing. Like, I'll consume sugar, I'll consume artificial sweeteners here and there. I try not to. It's not something that I do regularly anymore. I'm in recovery with artificial sweeteners, but the vegetable oils and the polyunsaturated fats, that whole long list, like soybean oil and all that, it's a no-go for me now. That's a hard no that I really, really make it a daily effort to stay away from. So anyway, those are some good snack options for you. Let's get into question 3. Again, if you guys have any questions, we got more people logging on Instagram. What's up, Instagram? I see somebody watching. I see a couple of you watching. Ask any questions you guys have. We're going to answer them live right now. Okay, and then we got number 3 here. Let's jump on this. Alternatives to sport drinks and soda. This is a good one. This seems to be a common one that pops up. Maybe I should turn my mug around so everybody can see my cool skull mug. Yeah. Welcome to Octoberland. It's almost October. All right. So, alternatives to sport drinks and soda pop. Soda pop. So, full disclosure here, to be transparent here, I grew up drinking a ton of soda. I was a soda baby. So for me, if I'm basically in debt, I feel, for my childhood, because I used to drink like 5 to 6 Mountain Dews a night during the summer and just stay up all gacked out playing video games. And I didn't know that it was like the combination of the sugar and the caffeine was the reason I was staying up till like 3, 4 in the morning during the summer. But anyway, these drinks, they're not good for you. Sports drinks, they try to sell them as good for you, which is a travesty that they do that. But we're here to make money, so it's your responsibility to educate yourself, because we're kind of living in a matrix here where the reps for Coca-Cola want you to think that in moderation Coca-Cola is good for you. Somehow high fructose corn syrup being anti-satiating is good for you, and raising blood sugar up that high. But anyway, I guess it's for who the person is, right? But some alternatives for sport drinks would be, if you can get into tea, there's herbal teas, there's kombucha. I know one of us watching right now is into kombucha. Where's my kombucha guy at? Michael, where you at, baby? Come on, say something about kombucha, dude. Let's go. Kombucha. Bucha. Anyway, kombucha tea is a fermented tea that's good for gut health. It helps increase the health of your gut microbiome. It gets good bacteria in. So that's a good one. You can also do tea, regular tea. Put a little bit of stevia in there if you need it sweet, or you can explore monk fruit. That's another one that you to sweeten if you must. And then there's a whole bunch of different teas you can get. And then you have coffee. Coffee's a good one. I've been doing this blended cacao. that booch. I've been doing blended cacao, so you can get this fair trade organic blended cacao. It's basically like chocolate powder without all the sugar in it. And I've been doing that. I've been posting that on my stories recently. We do a hot tea kettle. I get the hot water going. I do a couple scoops, I think it's a 1 tablespoon of, or maybe it's a half tablespoon. You'll know, you got to play with it, but basically a spoonful of this blended cacao. And then I will do a couple shakes of ground cinnamon. Cinnamon is good for helping with blood glucose, stabilizing blood glucose. Obviously, it's not going to save your life if you're eating a bunch of sugar, but it is something that you could have that helps stabilize glucose. So anyway, I'll do that in a cup, and then I'll do a little squirt of this chocolate stevia stuff that we got, and then hot water. And that's almost like a hot cocoa. That's, basically real low calories. It's good, cacao. The cacao is not giving me, too much at all. It gives you a little bit of fiber, but I really like that in place of some of this other stuff, these sodas. And then, the other thing is sparkling water. There's nothing too wrong with sparkling water. I trained a orthodontist though for several years, and the only thing that he said about these carbonated drinks, like even kombucha and sparkling water, is if you can drink them with the straw, it will help your enamel on your teeth, because you don't the acidic stuff. Or if you just swish your mouth out with regular water to restore that pH balance after you take a swig of like your kombucha or your sparkling water. But other than that, those are good options. I know I got a young guy right now that I'm training. He's drinking those, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. That's getting him off soda pop. It's like, that's one of the best options that you could do, is just if you can get on more of a sparkling water type thing if you need something. So, and then sports drinks, it depends on the application of them. The reason I say sports drinks are garbage is because they're promoted by athletes who are working out for several hours, who can handle all that sugar and they need that salt. But if you're, going into the gym to work out and you start drinking a bunch of salt and sugar, and you don't really need it. If you're sitting around your house, you don't really need it. You got to be honest with yourself. You're not out on the football field for 2 hours running sprints and warming up, and then all of the fans, when the game starts, see the sport players drinking the Gatorade or whatever it is, or the sports drinks after 2 hours of already working out. Well, that's a different application than the general person. So if you're working out a lot, I know, like when I do jujitsu, sometimes I'll bring in a coconut water. So coconut water, it's high sugar. It's got the electrolytes you need, but it's a bit more natural. But I definitely don't drink those things when I'm not rolling super hard. And I already get Pedialyte, but I get those things, and I try not to use them. So if I start cramping during a practice, that's when I'll go to the coconut water or the Pedialyte. But for the most part, you don't really need that stuff. So look at tea, look at sparkling water, look at kombucha, all that good stuff. So That's it, unless we got any more questions, you guys. That's it for today. That's episode 74. We had a good week. So again, tonight at 6 p.m., come hang out in webinar land. Learn how to get into the School of Shred. I'm going to explain what the School of Shred is. I'm going to explain how you can become a student. I'm going to explain how it's affordable. It's worth your time. But I'm also going to do a free training. Whether you sign up or not, you can come hang out for an hour and learn how you can get in the best shape of your life while staying at home through these weird times that we're in. Okay, there's a lot of great stuff that you can do. So if you sign up for the free webinar tonight, schoolofshredpodcast.com/webinar, you're going to be taken to a page where you can sign up for free. You can jump on the webinar tonight, hang out with me at 6 p.m. Pacific time, and we're going to get after it. We're going to get after our training tonight because I know you ain't doing nothing else because it's all rainy and ugly out today. So anyway, with that, you guys, I want everybody to have a great weekend. Stay safe. Enjoy your last weekend of September. And with that, I want you to stay strong and healthy in body. Stay relentless and energized in your spirits. Stay determined in your pursuits. That spells shred. Now go shred the day and get better in every way. We'll see you on Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific time for episode 75. Have a great weekend, y'all.